Observe Xfinity.
And this.
I like the snowflakes.
Some tax returns.
Move with Xfinity and settle in for the best home Wi-Fi. Bring up the good stuff.
Back in service.
Drop the new 2024 Nissan Rogue.
From the very beginning, the life of Paul Church was none too conventional. Born in space to terraform her parents, much of his early life was spent on ships and Genesis camps, by his own admission an unnatural life for a young man. Though he was very close with his parents and improved their ship, the Infidelity. The crew consisted of 3 men, Taylor, Hewitt, and Johansson, who did most of the petty and synthetic duty, programmed as a botanist as well as being serviceable in other areas. For as long as he could remember, science had always interested Church, and he had always considered himself a scientist. As a teenager, he received small grants from the government to conduct immunization research using rabbits as his test subjects. He was content with his unconventional life. Church recalls a series of events that would lead to his horrific encounter with the xenomorph at age 20. He explains, Quentin and Louise Clark, both scientists, and their daughter Rebecca, joined us. We were transporting them to RLW-1289. We had one stop before RLW-1289 to retrieve a time box from a moon which my parents had terraformed 50 years previously. It was a routine data-gathering operation. There was no reason to anticipate any kind of trouble. Our first surprise was the discovery of another ship in the Genesis station. Since the moon was officially off limits to general travel, we suspected pirates or smugglers, but we didn't find any. The company would later debrief Church about the smuggler's ship. While not going into great detail, the hive that Church would be captive within had been purposely developed by humans, abandoned pirates who considered themselves, quote, aspiring bug farmers. Soon after the retrieval operation, Paul Church would come face to face with the future object of his obsession. We retrieved the time box, and would have left shortly afterwards except for our second surprise, aliens. We'd heard about them, of course. We knew that we couldn't fight them with our little weapons. We knew what to expect. Brutal, bloody, terrifying death. Unfortunately, this did not occur. They brought us to their hive. It was so overgrown with vegetation that we hadn't been able to see it when we landed. As we drew near to the hive, the stomach-churning smell grew stronger. But once inside, it was intolerable. It was beyond stench. It was beyond foul. It was an incomprehensibly loathsome miasma that break one's soul from the lungs. They brought us to the chamber and dumped us on the ground. They sniffed us, and licked us, and probed us. We had never heard of alien behavior like this. We had no idea what was going on. Then something happened. 2 of the aliens grabbed hold of Rebecca. They seemed to be fighting over her. They tore her to pieces as if she were a wet paper bag. Judith, with her standard human defense programming, attempted to prevent a slaughter. Aliens are usually indifferent to non-organic beings. These aliens weren't. As they destroyed Judith, Taylor alone managed to make a meaningful protest. With a grenade, took 2 aliens with her, a lucky bastard. After that, they moved quickly. We were separated. I was forced into the bowels of the hive. There I saw what had happened to the crew of the other ship. Bloated, mutilated bodies hung everywhere. I think some of them were still breathing. I was attached to the chamber wall with thick strands of web-like mucus and left to contemplate my fate. How long I hung there I can only guess, perhaps 40 or 50 hours. During that time, my eyes and nose were scoured by the hideous stench, while sounds of distant human voices, screaming and sobbing and begging, assailed my ears. When the creatures finally returned, I prayed that they had come to kill me, but they had come to do something else. They had come to feed me. The feeding was interrupted by a hideous scream. Even one of the aliens seemed to shudder as the scream became louder, closer. It was Quentin Clark. What they'd done to him, I didn't want to imagine. He was completely out of his mind. He didn't stop screaming when they pushed him into a pool of green and gray slime which swarmed with tiny, tadpole-like creatures. He continued to scream as they glued his head to the wall, and he screamed after they left him. He screamed and screamed and screamed until his vocal cords were shredded. And then he made a horrible noise, like a goose, hour after hour after hour. The longer Church spent captive in the hive, the more he began to realize that, with the alien clan dying, the more extreme measures they would have to take to ensure the species' survival. What may be the most fascinating about the aspect of this story is how the slime observed by Church is very similar to the pathogen as seen in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Its functions would prove to be also quite similar. As seen with Holloway and Prometheus, consumption of the pathogen led to rapid mutations in his DNA makeup, including his sperm, which would end up impregnating Dr. Elizabeth Shaw with the trilobite creature. The slime in this hive also served as a mutagen to alter human sperm cells. With no sign of a queen and dying eggs with no hopes to impregnate any hosts, alternative measures had to be taken, with Dr. Church witnessing every step along the way, though despair would soon take over. I survived because I had no alternative, Church recalls. I tried to swallow my tongue, but finally gave that up. Ultimately, my mind retreated into itself, and I lived in a world of pure delusion. I was so immersed in this delusional reality that I barely noticed when they were moving from the wall. It never entered my mind to resist the fight. All I could do was long for death and wait to see what they were going to do. As I was carried out, I glimpsed Quentin Clark's form on the pool. He had begun to swell up. He'd stopped screaming. As we passed the chamber, something inside caught their attention. They abruptly changed direction and went in, dragging me with them. I heard the sounds of this new place we entered: sobbing, sucking, slurping noises, soft, wet heat noises. Something clicked. My conscious mind began to function again. I was suddenly rational, and I realized where I was. They had brought me their breeding pens. I recognized the woman. It was Louise Clark. She was impossibly graphic, hugely, monstrously swollen. I was tortured by a desire to do something for her. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then she delivered. She sounded very much like her husband before she died. If the aliens had hoped for hosts to breed in, the newborn things were obviously inadequate. They did not survive an hour. That was when I knew something was wrong with the hive. The aliens were vulnerable. A new resolve was born. From that moment forward, I kept my eyes and mind open for information that would help me destroy the hive. I swore that I would survive and use what knowledge I could gather to make myself into the deadliest enemy the aliens would ever know. I was taken to a chamber where I saw what was left of Hewitt and Johansson. They were beyond being able to recognize me. I was led to that stinking pool. I didn't wait for the aliens to force me. With the supreme effort of will, I put my face into the pool. They had showed drinking eagerly. I hoped that if I had complied, I could spare the treatment that made inhuman things with my crewmates. From the start, this plan was met with success. The aliens did not molest me as long as I anticipated their actions. When I saw them doing a task I thought I could emulate, such as feeding one of their mutating captives, we took upon the task myself, do anything to prove I wasn't a troublemaker. My friends were past being able to fend for themselves. Soon the aliens stopped guarding me so closely, and I was able to investigate my surroundings, every square inch. I gathered as many samples of the organic substances around me as I could, and kept them hidden in a small recess. I actually conducted crude experiments, testing the reactions of substances on one another. The leech-like things secreted a solvent-like colloid, which the aliens were cultivating as a sort of medicine. I observed that a ubiquitous black mold produced toxins that were destroying the aliens. I had the key to their survival in my hand. I immediately put my findings to use. Using the toxic mold to destroy the aliens' living medicine factories. It was amazing how well it worked. I made use of every chance I had to conduct this biological sabotage. It seemed almost wrong for destroying things which I once would have loved to study in depth, but I did the best I could. At that point, I organized the proper laboratory. I used my crewmates' skulls for dishes, ligaments for string, arteries for tubing, and skin for forming vessels. Thoughts of escape became secondary to the results of my experiments, which only grew in range and complexity. I had been reared to believe that aliens were all but innominable and almost impossible to kill. They invariably destroyed any other life form they came across. Yet here I was, surviving them, stereotypically poisoning them, fooling them, and learning their secrets. True, they were not normal, healthy aliens, but they had been brought low by nothing more than a common mold. They were vulnerable, analyzable, conquerable, and more knowledge about them than anyone else alive, and I could bring about their extinction in the universe. I was so obsessed, I stopped wondering how it all end. I was taken to a place where a large sloping crater had been built up out of alien secretions. Inside it I could see a human figure. The figure in the cradle was my mother. She must have fought with everything she had. Her arms and legs had been bitten and torn off, and she was covered with lacerations. The remnants of my soul burned like a million suns. My sanity curdled, prepared to depart forever, as I realized what they wanted. They wanted us to mate. I did the only thing I could for her. I killed her with my hands. Then the aliens grabbed hold of me and everything went black. When I awoke, I was again secured to the wall. The aliens gave me a fresh shot. They brought an egg. Well, they tried it. The sickness had affected even the eggs. They had to help the facehugger onto my face. Still, it was strong. It forced my lips and jaws apart and shoved its probe down my trachea and into my chest. I thought I had at long last been killed, but that merciful living ended. I awoke. As I pulled myself free from the wall, I could feel the heavy parasitic load cradling my chest. The smell of death was everywhere. The aliens, the crew. I didn't look for my father. I didn't want to see what they'd done to him. I wanted nothing more than to die, but not inside the hive. I found my way outside. The fresh air, the open space, and the light were shocking to my ravaged senses. Finally free from the hive, Dr. Church made his way back to the family ship. It was completely untouched, still intact, full power. While boarding and composing himself, he looked at the calendar, determining that he had been in the hive for 43 days. A distress signal was sent, but there was still the matter of delivery inside him. It took me 4 hours to cleanse my body. I patched my wounds, and I used the ultrasound to examine the alien heart in the chest. It was dead and rotting. Its removal was imperative. I had no surgical experience at all, but I gathered what information I could and set to work. The operation took 7 hours. It was completely successful. I guess I had a knack for surgery. The rescue party arrived a month later. I had them on my own 2 feet, but I was an absolute mess. The company considered my experience most valuable. As compensation for my ordeal in the service of the government, I was granted a full biomechanical makeover. I've been studying aliens ever since. With that, Dr. Church had come to be one of the few characters in the alien universe to survive an alien impregnation, albeit from an unhealthy specimen. And combined with the morbid experiences in the hive, this makes for his perspective on the species to be quite unique. Although the two stories were developed decades apart, we believe that the slime and the black mold, as seen in the dying hive, has any relation to the pathogen seen in Prometheus. Is it possible it's a diluted version of the substance? And do you think Weyland-Yutani's explanation of the smugglers developing their own hive is in fact the truth? Or perhaps a cover-up or a secret operation? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, stay tuned for more on Dr. Church and his own secret experience in the next video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give a like and subscribe for all the latest theories and explanations of the alien universe. If you have a suggestion for a topic, please comment below. I'd love to get to it. And you can also follow alien_theory on Twitter and Alien Theory YT on Facebook for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off. Colonel Dr. Anthony Crespi was part of a USCM combat mission that came to grief. With the xenomorph hive located on Solano's moon, Crespi was among several other Marines present with the core purpose, as regulations dictated, to serve as backup for the lead team and provide retreat escort if necessary. The lead team consisted of Marines brandishing the latest in USCM weapons technology, particle plasma projectors, which the team expected to liquefy every last alien in the cavern. A sort of test run on the technology, believing this to be the first step in finally bringing an end to the xenomorph species for good. The mission went awry very quickly, with the superior firepower proving to be no match against the seemingly endless hordes of xenomorphs that would come to defend their hive and their queen against the human threat. The USCM's confidence in their newly developed technology had been gravely misplaced, and the event, in short, was a complete massacre. With Marines being slaughtered left and right, Crespi was able to hold his own and find a way for the remaining team to escape, though not before coming face to face with the alien queen, who, in her fury, severely wounded Crespi with a strike of her piercing claws. Narrowly escaping her grasp thanks to backup provided by Captain Gibbs, he was able to make his way to the dropship evac, though the unrelenting xenomorphs would follow, and continue their attacks to eliminate the threat to the hive. Crespi would be the only survivor of this incident. 9 years later, Crespi was assigned for duty aboard the Innominata, with his past experiences making him a prime candidate to succeed David Lennox, Dr. Church's research assistant who had died recently of a heart attack. Officially, Crespi's duty was to replace Lennox, though unofficially he was tasked to investigate Church and his methods. His classified orders permitted him to take emergency command of the ship, should his discretion deem it necessary. The Innominata and the experiments taking place aboard had a reputation that preceded itself. Many whispers and worries about what exactly was taking place there, and ugly rumors that the crew was considered expendable and used in clandestine experiments. The ship had come to be called She Who Cannot Be Named. Upon arrival, Crespi was quick to pass harsh judgment on Church's operations, but he slowly started to come around and align himself with Church's way of thinking when he saw the results of the experiments on the Captain Xenomorph specimens. Upon witnessing Church administer electric shocks to the specimen, Crespi even admits, "To tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind giving that thing a shock or two for old Langston myself. I had a run-in with a flock of those monsters once. We knew they were dangerous, of course, but I didn't know how they were. All I remember is that skin, that stink, lashed with tubes and drool, and those teeth, and blood." Impressed with his findings, which Crespi himself described as mind-numbingly important, as well as hearing about, though not explicit detail, that Church also survived an encounter with xenomorphs, Crespi and Church formed an uneasy rapport, though it would soon be challenged after a briefing with the USCM colleague, Lieutenant Sharon McGinnis, who had been investigating Church herself. "The man you were sent here to replace, David Lennox, was my fiancé," McGinnis explains. He had been Church's research partner for 6 years when they met. David tried repeatedly to have himself transferred, but could never get the orders. Something was happening here. He tried to send me a coded message, but it arrived scrambled. Then I was told he died of a heart attack on board the Innominata. Shortly afterwards, my apartment was burglarized. Everything he'd ever sent me was taken. Everything, even love letters. I need to know what happened here. I'm certain David didn't die of a heart attack. All the crew medical records have been altered. 34 deaths occurred in the last 3 years. With only one shuttle arriving to and from the Innominata per year, the numbers certainly weren't adding up, though McGinnis' investigation of the station mainline showed 3 additional shuttles arriving per year for the past 5 years. She voiced her suspicions clearly. Whatever's going on here has support from higher up. Crespi, however, wouldn't remain entirely trusting of McGinnis either, believing her to be motivated by her own paranoia regarding Church and Lennox, and later suspecting her of corporate espionage and spying for a rival company. The implications and possibilities of Dr. Church's research had seduced Crespi to the point of blindness and careful manipulation taking place. He has opened the doors to technological innovation that borders on the mystical. The work he is doing here will change the face of science forever. McGinnis, reaching the point of desperation to find the truth regarding the secrets of Dr. Church, would repeatedly plead with Crespi's reason. The alien research is only a small part of what he's doing here. Station resource requirements don't jive with the consumption records. Something on board the Innominata is using almost a third again as much power as all known systems, including the alien lab, combined. Church has a hidden operation on board, sir, something big, something he doesn't want you to find. He's engaged your interest in the alien research to throw you off the track. The source of power consumption will be confirmed once Crespi and McGinnis were able to locate Church's secret lab, containing all the deceased crew members that were supposedly jettisoned. The lab was filled with mutated, mutilated monsters of former human beings, all due to Church's rapid experimentation, including David Lennox, who, as McGinnis observes, is actually still alive. Not unlike David H. has seen in Alien Covenant, Dr. Church would find it necessary to use human subjects to unlock the potential of the xenomorph. When confronted, Church explains the method behind his madness. "Originally, I tried to develop a viral bomb to eliminate aliens forever, but my experiments yielded unexpected and miraculous results. You've heard rumors, no doubt. Nervous metabiotics, self-replicating brain tissue, acquired extrasensory abilities, the so-called time serum. Though I killed no one, I appropriated the bodies of soldiers who died in line of duty. You are the slave to sweetness and lights, and what are they? Prosthetic abstractions conceived by embryonic minds, unable to live with the truth. Where does good exist? In your empty skull. You can be bought with cookie, fooled with 3 words. God, if you only knew how I see you, humans. Must you always believe in appearances? I didn't survive the hive. I am alive. When I look the cosmos in the eye, it blinks. You have the honor of contributing to my research, although you won't be in any condition to appreciate it. You will have assisted in the creation of an evolutionary bridge to the true crown of creation. Pink poetry of man will be subsumed by the black blank genius of the alien, and the result will be the original and final creature. It will feed and live off itself, and I will join it. It would seem the dying hive that was home to the good doctor all those years ago parted a desperate need for the xenomorph's survival onto him, leading to the rest of his life being devoted to the xenomorph. Not to fighting it, not to stopping it, but to perfect it beyond anyone's wildest dreams or nightmares. The Church lured the duo into his maze, forcing them to fight for their survival as the xenomorph specimens stalked them, knowing full well they wouldn't survive, and he would soon have further bodies to appropriate. But something unexpected happened. McGinnis was able to escape the deadly maze and, fueled by a rage towards Church, was able to stand off against her alien pursuer with submission, bending at her telepathic request to hoist her out of the pit, all without the aid of any FITR telepathy, as used in previous experiments. Despite this remarkable display, Dr. Church would not end up being held accountable for his crimes. McGinnis would survive the ordeal. Crespi, however, would not, succumbing to the wound given to him by xenomorphs within the maze, and finally being merciful by McGinnis. While McGinnis would be apprehended by the USCM, facing a tribunal for sabotage and for murder, Crespi, to death, would find himself an integral part of Church's twisted experience, bringing them both one step closer to creating Church's original final creature. Depending on how far Church's influence reached, do you think it's possible that his figurative labyrinth goes so deep as to have requested the higher-ups at Weyland-Yutani to provide Crespi services, possibly because of his past experiences? Specifically, do you think his wounds at the hands of the Xenomorph Queen may have left some kind of unseen infection and DNA alteration that unlocked the key to exactly what Church needed to complete his masterpiece? Opposite to that, with humans holding biological keys to creating and/or infecting the xenomorph species, do you think, considering McGinnis' displays with no artificial intervention of drugs, could humans also hold the key to unlocking the ability to control and/or destroy the xenomorph? Comment below and share your thoughts. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for all the latest theories and explanations of the alien universe. If you'd like to see a topic covered, please comment below with your suggestion. And in the meantime, you can follow Alien_Theory on Twitter and Alien Theory YT on Facebook for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.
Matt and Elaine, founders of Sugar Bottle Chocolate. Our dream is to build a sustainable chocolate company.
And our business has become way bigger than just chocolate.
Chase for Business was there with us from the beginning. Everything our business needed to get going.
Get financial guidance for bankers in your community. Convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com and make more of the tools. Real customers now at JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member of the ICU.
In being a big alien fan, and of course having this channel, I'm always keeping an eye out for alien-related news. Especially now that we have both the new movie and television series looming ever so closely. However, there was a recent news story that almost eluded me, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. This news actually related to the original 1979 film, specifically the iconic Alien A, and a new controversy surrounding it. Just about everyone can recognize this image, whether you're a mega fan or have never even seen the movie. You know the association. The giant, ominous egg, cracking as a burst of light emanating from within, raised the poster and countless video clips for the film, as well as the classic teaser trailer for the film, which first announced to the world that in space, no one could hear your scream. It's instantly recognizable. Since the original 1979 release, it has been the subject of countless homage, parody, tributes, heartfelt reference. It's a piece of art so well done, so perfectly paired with its tagline that when you see it, a version of it, you know exactly that this relates to the classic film. This marketing aspect of the film is so effective and so memorable that I guess it's rare that we ever stop to acknowledge that this egg, as seen on the poster, is not at all the egg we see in the actual film. The reasoning behind this is too complex, and more of a matter of the advertising for the film not on its sake, being a separate entity. Here's some background information from J.W. Ridker's book, The Making of Alien. The advertising agency's 72-second trailer consisted of a parched herb standing into the alien planet world with an ominous egg that cracks open. The alien ovule was actually a hen's egg salvaged from early test footage. The teaser trailer created a sense of foreboding. It was a creative touchpoint for the titles. Title designer was extremely active. With no voiceover or other descriptive devices, the trailer ended with the tagline, "In space, and Restream." The poster's primary image of the hen egg also had become the primary image for the film's trailer and Fox's big marketing push, rather than an egg that actually appears in the film. The ad people worked up the present ads before they saw an end of the film, Walter Hill said. As far as we're concerned, it's just an esoteric image. It's not supposed to be specific at all. The egg is a metaphor for the alien. Originally, we had an eager egg that we liked very much for the ad prototype. But the ad people finally couldn't reproduce it well enough, so they came up with their own version of this. The rest is history, and arguably one of the most memorable trailers and posters ever to be associated with the film. So it stands to reason that this differently designed egg has its own